Hey, good morning. It's Mark here with another morning rant. What time is it? Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. All right, 5 o'clock, 5:16. Hey, let's get into some hypocrisy, shall we? I know you guys want to hear about some good old fashioned Fox News hypocrisy. Let's go to Sean Hannity and listen to him talk about the debt ceiling and socialism and all this other good stuff they love to talk about. Let's get into it, people.
Fellow socialist comrades, they're now desperate to pass two separate trillion-dollar spending bills, a so-called infrastructure bill that costs $1.2 trillion. On top of that, the other Build Back Better plan, which is a social welfare bill. It's basically AOC's Green New Deal that costs a whopping $3.5 trillion, money we do not have and will never be able to pay back. Keep in mind the whopping $6 trillion in emergency COVID relief spending, that has already been allocated. And for reference, let's go back to 2019. The entire federal budget was only $4.4 trillion. So where are we going to get the extra $10 trillion in new spending that Joe is claiming won't cost you a single penny?
All right, let me stop you right there. Okay. Okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Let me make myself a little bit bigger here. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. If this country, now, I've talked about the debt ceiling before. I've talked about the national debt before. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit. However, every time the Republicans come into power, this is what they do. They do this. They spend money like crazy. And then when the Democrats come in, they want to be conservative again. They want to be conservative again. So this is what I said before. Well, like I said, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is what I'm talking about. If we do not spend the money today, we should have been spending this money 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. However, if we do not spend the money today, we're going to spend 10 times that much in the future. Because now, I don't know, and no one really knows how much gas that we have available, how much fuel we have available, how much oil we have available, right? They always talk about how we're being depleted in oil and how OPEC, the nations that own all the petroleum in the Middle East, how they're hoarding oil and things like that, and how it's going to be depleted soon, and how we're squeezing out oil sands to get oil from. And we don't really know how much we have left, but still, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Stephen Hawkins, the late great Stephen Hawkins, rest in peace, brother. He said that we need to explore other planets. You don't want to. Right now, the human race, the human species, has all of its eggs in one basket, Earth. We have got to start exploring other planets, mostly Mars. We really need to go and try to colonize Mars. And then from Mars, look to further planets. Not because after Mars, I think everything is like a gas. So like Jupiter, Saturn, all those planets out there, they're gases. But you can't go closer to the sun because places like Venus, that's just too freaking hot. We're in the Goldilocks zone where it's not too hot, not too cold. But anyway, I digress. We have got to start putting all our eggs in different baskets. And right now, all of our eggs in the transportation and movement of this country is in the oil business. And hell, even the Rockefellers who made their money in coal wrote an open letter to Joe Manchin telling him, hey, we understand that you want to protect the people of West Virginia, but we have got to start focusing on natural fuels. And solar fuels and things like that, something to diversify the energy system, the energy issue in America. Because before long, I mean, we have got to diversify. We really do. There's places that need broadband. I think like Google Fi and things like that. They're trying to put when I was in Kyrgyzstan, on my way home from a deployment, we stopped in Kyrgyzstan, and there was a base in Kyrgyzstan that had Wi-Fi over the entire base. And I'm like, it was a small base, but I was like, really? They said, yeah, go to your settings and sure shit. Here I am walking down the street on this little small base, and I got internet on my iPad. It was cool as shit. We need to do that in America. Now, we get into some freedoms when we do that. Like, who's going to be in control of it? What are they going to restrict? Things like that. But let's just say if the county or the local government or even the state had free Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, so that way the poor, the people that can't afford Wi-Fi, now it will be restricted. You can't go to certain websites. You can't do certain things. I understand that. But for people who need the Wi-Fi, who can't afford it, now you got free Wi-Fi that your kids can go to school with. So when they bring home those tablets and stuff to log into, they can use the city's Wi-Fi. Like, we need stuff like that. I mean, I think in the 70s, what's his face? Jimmy Carter tried to put solar panels on the White House, on top of the White House. When Reagan got in, he took it down. Why would you do that? So the 3.5 trillion or the 10 trillion is not all going to be spent. It's not all going to be spent today. It's going to be spent over a certain amount of years, and it's going to be deficit neutral, meaning they're going to tax some things. Now he goes further to say in here that yes, the rich don't pay taxes, that they will bring those taxes onto you. But what he's not telling you is that those are he's talking about businesses. If you close those loopholes, the company would still be able to pay those taxes. And how about this? Here's another novel idea. If you pay people more, they will have more to spend. Quit trying to restrict minimum wage to $7 and $10 an hour. Pay people more. When we were growing up, the great thing to do was to get your high school diploma. Everybody remembers that kid walking to McDonald's and say, hey, so-and-so got a job, and, boom, he working at McDonald's. And it was the thing to do. It was, you can make a living for the most part on certain jobs with a high school diploma. And Dr. Umar Johnson, he says that, we had trades, auto mechanic, refrigeration, things like that in high school. They took all that stuff out. So that was a time where this country, even still, I think that minimum wage was too low back in the day, but it stayed that way. When I stopped working in the private sector, minimum wage I was making $7.10 an hour. Yeah, because I had started making minimum wage had just went up from $3.75 to $4.15. And when I got in, it was $4.15. It had went up to $5.75, but I still had to make $3.75 for a certain amount of months. Then I went to $4.15, and then I went up to like $5.75. By the time I stopped working and I went to the military, I was making $7.10 an hour, and that was based on my experience. I had went from $5 to $7 over like 3-4 years. Minimum wage is still around the same, and that was 97, 98. It's been over 20 years, and minimum wage is the same. But I digress. So we heard him talk a little bit about inflation and being afraid of the deficit and all this other stuff, right? Well, let's listen to Hannity contradict himself.
Why it's a bad idea for Republicans to fight against raising the debt ceiling.
So this is September 21st of 2021. He wants to fight against raising the debt ceiling. He's for it. He's for not raising the debt ceiling.
Why don't they take a stand and just say, we're not doing it?
Now, here's him back in 2017 saying that it's going to be raised, and he's okay with it.
Like the debt any more than you do. But we all know that the debt ceiling is going to get raised. But, Pap,
Here's another episode.
Cannon, they didn't even have a debt ceiling bill, and they were off for nearly the whole month of August, and they come back and they had no clue how to deal with the debt ceiling. So the president needs to get money to Texas, and he made a deal with Schumer and Pelosi. I don't blame him.
They want to spend all this money. Republicans don't. That there's no opportunity to work.
So now he's talking about being against the debt ceiling. This is in this year.
For the Republican, I don't think one Republican should vote to increase it by a penny.
I think the only reason the president gave a 3-month extension on the debt ceiling is he wanted to get the money over to the people in Texas.
And here he's okay with raising the debt ceiling.
Those people are desperate. He doesn't. You don't have time to mess around when everybody's life has been upturned like this.
I see no reason for them to raise the debt ceiling.
This is him in 21. He don't want the debt ceiling raised.
I wouldn't do it under any circumstances. Let the Democrats own this lock, stock, and barrel.
I don't have any conflict at all with what he did on the debt ceiling to get money to Texas sooner.
I don't think any Republican should lift a finger to help them raise the debt limit so they can waste all that money that they say is free.
Trump said, finally, okay, you don't have a deal. Let me put this together and we'll extend the debt ceiling for 3 months, and I'm going to get the money to Texas because I promised the people of Texas that were victims of Hurricane Harvey that I'm going to get the money. That's like rolling up your sleeves like the rest of us just to get something done.
You cannot call yourself a conservative or even a Republican and work in conjunction with the Democrats and support this bill or raising the debt ceiling, which allows them to spend the money that they want to allocate in this bill.
I think the president was right last week when he made the deal to extend the debt ceiling because Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, for whatever reason, this is mind-numbing to me, didn't come back from their August recess with a plan on the debt ceiling. And so he's like, all right, I'll extend it. I just think I don't understand the lack of urgency. These people need their homes rebuilt. The ones that weren't asked and it wasn't demanded of them to have flood insurance, it's one of those things that can happen to anyone.
So now, right there, he's talking about socialism. Right there, he said that, okay, these people wasn't demanded. Why would the government demand you have insurance? But he's saying right now that the government is demanding you have flood insurance. But because you don't have flood insurance, we're going to pay for your homes. He's talking socialism. He's approving socialism right there.
Anybody, and I think there's an adequate role for the federal government and the generosity of the American people. We're not going to let people's lives be upended to the point where their lives are ruined.
So there you go. There you go. There you go. On the one hand, Sean Hannity is saying the GOP should not lift a finger to help the Democrats raise the debt ceiling. On the other hand, he's saying go ahead and raise the debt ceiling. So which is it? Which is it? Which is it? Should we raise the debt ceiling or should we not raise the debt ceiling? It's money that's already been spent. How about this? How about we change the law to where now we have to make it so everything is that we balance a budget? How about we change the law so that if the government does not balance the budget, because the states can't run a deficit. The states cannot run a deficit. They have to balance their budgets. So why don't we do this with the federal government? No congressman, no senator, no president shall be paid if we have a deficit or a debt. But no, let's keep going with this. Let's keep going with this. Because here he is on this show.
Well, in two ways. One, taxes. The Build Back Better plan, it raises taxes on corporations, but they don't pay taxes. You pay those taxes. Raises taxes on small businesses, individuals, and families. And after they take a bite at the apple, when you die, they'll take an extra 61 cents of every dollar you might have in your piggy bank. Everyone in America will feel the impact of these taxes. Doesn't matter if you're wealthy, poor, middle class, somewhere in between. Corporations, businesses will not sit back. They're not going to take the loss. They will pass that tax on to you, the consumer. You will pay these taxes. Everything you buy will become more expensive.
So now he's trying to scare you into thinking that, okay, fight against this spending bill. Fight against it because they're going to pass those taxes on to you. But when it comes to go back to that other audio that I just played for you. When it goes to the Republicans being in power, he's okay with extending the debt limit, raising the debt limit, spending money, the $1.6 trillion they gave to the rich. He's okay with that. But when the Democrats in office, they don't want to play that game. This is the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. I can drop the mic right here. And you know what? I think I'll do that. I'm going to stop it right there because boom. And boom goes the dynamite. They can't touch me around here. This is crazy, man. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, let me go to one more thing before I get up out of here. One more thing before I get up out of here, people. Let me show you how red this country is and why this is what I was talking about when it comes to the MAGA people and things like that, right? I just watched a video that talked about I think this is it. Give me a second. I just watched a video that talked about the nation.
Nigger no.
That talked about the nation being a certain the demographics of America and how deeply red this nation is. I think this is the video. Oh, yep, it is. All right, here we go. Let's go here.
But at the county level.
No, here we go. Watch what he say.
But at the county level. Political map of the country.
Now.
Google a political map of the country, not at the state level, but at the county level. And when you see that map and how red that map is, the country's a lot redder than 2020 may lead you to believe.
So here we go.
Well, we did more than Google. Called upon. You know who I'm talking about.
So you're looking at the state map right now. This is the state map. This is how Trump, and again, we have got to stop thinking on the presidential level. We have got to start thinking on the local level and the county level, because the state level, winning the presidency is not the end all be all. And that's the problem that Joe Biden is having. He has a slight majority in the House and he has a 50-50 Senate. And then people get upset that this man is not doing anything. Give him more people in the Congress. The president can only sign stuff. He can't legislate. He can do executive orders, but when the next president comes in, they can rescind the damn executive order. So this is what I'm talking about. So he won the presidency and he barely won the Senate and he barely won the House. This is the state map. Watch Steve Kornacki go into a county map.
It's Steve Kornacki on a non-election night. He is our national political correspondent for NBC News and MSNBC. I also want to shout out, he's the author of The Red and the Blue. And since Michael suggested this, it was only fair to bring him back along with Howard Dean, who are here for this special conversation, a deep dive
All right, be
on
quiet,
the
bro.
national political situation, the mechanics of Congress, and just what is happening there tonight with why. So we're going to begin with Steve Kornacki's report. Steve, take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Ari. And, I mean, what we're talking about here is the partisan distribution of voters. A couple different ways, I guess, to look at this. First, the map everybody knows. This is the 2020 election. Biden wins. There's the electoral vote count. Here are the red states. Here are the blue states. You see, basically, we know Democrats concentrated a lot on the West Coast, the Northeast, somewhat here in the Midwest. Biden was able to flip a couple states. But in that clip you played, you had Michael Steele talking about the county strength. Now, the 50 states in the country, there's more than 3,100 counties in the United States. So this map is going to change here in a second. You're going to see all of the counties in the country. This is the red.
Look at the difference in this map. Look at the difference in this map. Go back and look at the state map, and then look at the counties. That's the county map. This country is a lot red. This country is center right when it comes to politics. So what does that mean? That means that the country is moderately conservative. So it's hard for Democrats to win. They got to focus on places like New York and the upper the New England area in California, because that's where the money is for the Democrats. Look at the county map. You get Miami. You can tell right there in Florida. That's Miami-Dade area right there. You can tell this is Los Angeles, San Diego area right here, and parts of San Francisco up here, and that's Oregon and well, that's Washington State. But you can tell that's like the Portland area and stuff like that. So you can tell that's New York and Boston and Philly. This country, this state, this country is mostly conservative.
Red blue map for the counties, and obviously you see a lot more red here than blue. In the 2020 election, Donald Trump won more than 2,500 counties. Again, there's just over 3,100 of them. More than 2,500 went for Donald Trump.
Watch
now,
this.
obviously,
Watch
not
this.
every county is the exact same size. Here's like a very dramatic example I could give you. If you were to really zoom in here in Southern California, I'm going to circle it. What I just circled is Los Angeles County in Southern California.
Los Angeles County. That little small dot is Los Angeles. Watch this.
This is a big blue county, the city of Los Angeles, and about 10 million people. There's about 10 million residents in Los Angeles County. Joe Biden won Los Angeles County overwhelmingly. In terms of population, though, Los Angeles County would be the same size as Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, roughly, if you were to combine all of those.
Los Angeles is large enough to encompass 6 states. There are 6 states worth of people living in the Los Angeles area. So again, we have got to stop focusing on the president every 4 years. We've got to start focusing on the legislative body, the House and the Senate and the state legislatures and things like that. We tend to, sometimes these people run unopposed. If you go back and look at that map and go look at Alabama, we have what they call the Black Belt. I've talked about the Black Belt before. The Black Belt, not only is it known for Black Belt because that's where the richest soil was during slavery and you know, cotton picking season, but also historically that's where a lot of black folk live in Alabama. So if you go look at that map again, it shows how there's a strip of blue in Alabama that divides Alabama. So Alabama is conservative in the north and conservative in the south, and it's Democrat in the middle. And that's barely, but the state is still conservative. So I know I went a little bit too far here, but I just want you guys to see this and understand that not only are the Democrats in trouble as far as trying to maintain power to get something done, but that, but that the GOP and the Republican, well, the GOP and Sean Hannity are hypocrites. And I think I've proven my point. So I think I'm good. So look, let me get up out of here, people. The kids are up. You can hear them making cereal and things like that. So I'm going to get up out of here, and I will holler at you guys on the next one. Today is Friday. Today's Friday, October 1st. So, hey, I'll see you guys on the next one. I am out. Oh, hey, your boy is on Instagram now. I'm on Instagram. So this video here now is going on YouTube, and it's on Instagram, and it's on Facebook. So get at your boy. Go follow me. Go subscribe, and check me out. I'm all over the place now. I'm getting there. I'm expanding. I'm going global. All right, people. Look, let me get up out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm out. Y'all take care.